Hi everyone, my rankings in this video are heavily influenced by my own opinion, and let's just get right into it. Alright, first off, let's start with Spawn of Satan. This is the worst tier of them all. This is like enemies that I really think are like really live up to the annoyance that everybody portrays them as. Next up we got Pretty Annoying. These ones I think are very annoying. They're not like absolutely atrociously annoying. Mild inconvenience pretty much speaks for itself. Like, they're more of like a mild inconvenience, nothing crazy. And skill issue, sorry, that tier is like, I think the enemies in that tier are not annoying at all, and I think it's just a massive like skill issue if you find these enemies annoying at all. Alright, first off we have the Muckroach here, and this is like the first enemy you encounter when you enter Sinner's Road. They're pretty straightforward. They pretty much, all they try to do is just dive at you and bite you, which I think like does double damage or something. But that's pretty much all they do. They're pretty straightforward. They can be kind of annoying when you first enter the area, but once you kind of see what they do, I think they're overall just kind of like a minor inconvenience at best. Okay, next up we have the Mawling here. Now the only reason this guy even made it on this list is because it's one of the first 3 enemies you encounter in the whole game. And for an enemy that is at the very start of the game, they can be a little annoying, I won't lie. They do spin around the platform pretty fast, so the timing can be tight if you're a brand new player, but that's pretty much it. Like, they're only really annoying if you're a brand new player. They have a big disadvantage of the fact that they're glued to a platform, so you know, you can just simply wait out the timing and then jump to the platform and then get off of it. You can also like pogo off of them, so that's another thing you can do. So overall, they're just going in the skill issue tier. Alright, next up we have the Tarmite enemy. Now, these guys I absolutely hate, alright? These guys, from what I remember, I think they're only present in like that one Savage Beastfly fight when you fight him over the lava pool area. I could be wrong though. They are kind of like around the start of the game. Now, these guys, they're mainly really annoying because of the Savage Beastfly fight. They shoot a fire projectile at you, which does double damage. They also leave fire on the ground, which also does double damage. Now, the biggest thing that makes them, you know, less threatening is just equipping the Magma Bell. That immediately makes all their attacks only do 1 damage. But as like a fairly early game enemy, they're pretty damn annoying, especially in the Savage Beastfly fight. I personally find these things absolutely atrocious to deal with. So I'm putting this in the pretty annoying tier. Alright, next up we have the Vaultborn. Now, all these guys do pretty much is they just kind of dive at you. I don't think you can really hit them in the head, which is like the annoying part. The way they dive too, it seems to like personally hit me pretty consistently, especially when I'm trying to run through an area and there's a bunch of them. But I think these guys are a mild inconvenience at best, and that is because you actually have the option to make these enemies not exist at all. In the Citadel, there's a room. If you go in there, there's a secret switch you can flip, and flipping that switch is actually what unleashes them upon the entire like Citadel. So as long as you don't go and hit that secret switch, they can't spawn at all. Now, even if you don't flip the switch, in Act 3, they will still spawn regardless. But honestly, at Act 3, you're not really gonna be in the Citadel much to see these guys anyway. Like, you're only really gonna be running through the area where they are when you have like Psalm cylinders to go deliver. That's about it. So I think they're just gonna go in the mild inconvenience tier. Okay, next up we have the Choir Clapper. Now, I originally wasn't gonna put this guy on this list because he seems almost like a mini boss enemy, but I ultimately decided to put this guy on the list because he is part of probably the worst mandatory gauntlet in the game. At the end of the gauntlet, you have to fight 2 of them especially, and that gauntlet is pretty much known as like the hardest mandatory gauntlet in the game if you're just planning to finish the game in Act 2. For speedrunners, this is also an absolute nightmare. So I ultimately decided this guy did deserve a spot on this list, and I will put him in the pretty annoying tier. Alright, next up we have the Squit, and this guy's definitely going in Spawn of Satan. I don't think there's any question about it. This guy is like the cousin of the Royal Aspid. I absolutely hate these things. They are pretty much all of them are placed in the most inconvenient areas ever, where you have to do some kind of platforming and reach. There's like almost no platforms to even reach them, and they just keep flying away from you. They attack a lot. These guys, I definitely think, deserve a spot at the worst tier. Next up, we have the Ductsucker. Now, this guy is like the Moss Charger's cousin, but like on steroids. These guys, you pretty much shouldn't fight at all. These guys are pretty much placed around the map in ways where you should honestly just try your best to jump over them. But that is exactly another problem with them. These guys are super fast, and their hitbox is very, like, it reaches pretty high vertically, where even with a double jump, you can still get hit sometimes. And just touching them immediately does double damage. They have both a jump attack and a charge attack, and they're stupidly fast. So I think these guys deserve like a pretty annoying tier here. Okay, next we have the Stilkin, and this guy is like one of the many reasons why Bile Water is the worst area in the game. This guy, he always just jumps out in the most inconvenient area ever. The way he like arches his like darts as well, it feels like even if you try to like run away from him, it almost feels like they track you. They travel really far horizontally, but they can also still have a pretty easy way of hitting you even if you're up close to him. I find that super annoying. On top of that, he will like throw his projectiles at you like once or twice, and then he'll just run away and like jump into the bile water and disappear. So on top of him already annoying the crap out of you, he will also just run away like a coward. I think these guys are pretty damn annoying, so... Okay, next we have the Slubberlug. Now, at the top of my head, I can only remember like one area of the map that these guys are in, but in that one area of the map, they're absolutely everywhere. It's like a platforming area, and they just jump out at you from the bottom constantly. There's like a gazillion of them there, and every time one of them catches you, they catch you, they drag you into the bile water. On top of you taking like 1 or 2 massive damage, they like pretty much always afflict you with the bile water effect as well. That platforming area, it's like semi-long too. One of like the most annoying rooms in the game in my opinion. Just the couple times I've had to go through that room, I ended up making it at like 1 or 2 masks to the end. Pretty damn atrocious enemy. Luckily, they're not absolutely everywhere, but overall still pretty damn annoying. Okay, next up we have the Choir Bellbearer. There's some enemies that are very similar to this guy. I just kind of chose him to represent all of them. Now, this guy has some crazy snipes he can hit you with for sure, but there's like one main thing that kind of makes him not super annoying in my opinion, and it's just the fact that you can deflect his bells. You can even deflect his bells back at him to do damage to him. Also, the general areas I encounter these guys in, they aren't like placed in super annoying ways. Sometimes they kind of just rely on other enemies around them to do damage. But they are also a flyer enemy too, which does add to the annoyance. But I overall think they're still like a mild inconvenience at best. Okay, next up we got the Dregwheel. Now these guys are only like 1 or 2 fights in the game. They're part of the Unraveled boss fight. And these guys I do think are extremely annoying. They split into like 2 halves and they become a massive hitbox that just spins its way at you. I know in the Unraveled fight, you don't really have that much space to work with anyway, so these guys pretty much just end up hitting you every time. They only exist in like 1 or 2 areas in the entire game, but in the couple times you do encounter them, they're pretty damn annoying in my opinion, so they go in the pretty annoying tier. Okay, next up we have the Wisps, and these guys are technically an enemy. They're present all throughout like the Wisp kit area. I don't know if I got that wrong. They're summoned by like these fire lamps, and they're like homing missiles. Now, if they hit you, they do 2 damage. They leave fire if they hit like a wall or ground, they leave fire behind as well, which also does 2 damage. And the enemies that spam them, they spam them quite a lot. They're also summoned by the Father of Flame as his main way of attacking you. Now, the biggest thing that counters these guys is just simply Magma Bell. It immediately cuts all their damage in half, so I think just because of that, they get the mild inconvenience tier. Okay, next up we got the Driznit, and I think I might get a lot of hate for this one, but hear me out. I think this guy is a skill issue. So, first of all, I don't think these guys are placed in very annoying enemy areas at all. They have fairly low health. To not get hit by these guys, all you really have to do is avoid tight spaces. If you're in an open space, let's say he's like flying on the right above you, if he shoots you, all you have to do is like inch a little bit to the left. And his projectile, no matter how much it bounces, it probably won't come back and hit you. Like, also, the other thing is you can also deflect the projectile back at him. It's a fairly sizable projectile, you can easily do that. I've seen crazy clips of people getting hit by this guy, but overall, I do think this is honestly kind of a skill issue, as funny as it is. Next we have his older brother, Driznarga. Now, this guy I am actually going to put in the mild inconvenience tier. This guy only gets a tier above because he is like the tankier version. His projectile is also bigger, which honestly kind of makes it easier to hit, if anything. But he is tankier. From my experience, the tankier brother here is also placed in more inconvenient areas where he has an easier time hitting you. So I'll give him props. I'll put him in the mild inconvenience tier. Okay, next we have the Lavalug. Now, this guy made it on this list because the hitbox of its attack is surprisingly pretty large, and it can really feel like you get hit outside of his attack. Whichever direction it chooses to shoot, up, down, left, or right, it pretty much covers that entire part of the room in its attack. So that is the main reason this guy got here. Now, at the end of the day, it's still like glued to one platform, so it's not like too hard to avoid. So I'll just put on the mild inconvenience tier. Okay, next we have the Flintflame Flyer, and this is the second enemy that's going in Spawn of Satan. Alright, I find this enemy to be absolutely annoying. Every bomb he throws has massive AoE. If you get hit by the bomb, double damage. The explosion, double damage. I think when he dies, I think he himself blows up. I don't know if it's actually him himself blowing up, or if he's like, if the bomb he was holding when you killed him blows up, but that also is pretty annoying. He's usually placed in pretty damn annoying areas. There's a gauntlet where like 2 or 3 of them spawn at a time, and you're in like a small room and you have to fight these guys. Atrocious. Anytime I fight these guys, it's generally really difficult to avoid getting hit by them. So they're going in Spawn of Satan for me. Okay, next up we have the Gromling, and I decided to throw this guy into this list as well because he's just kind of like a coward. All this guy does is he just pops out of the ground when you're in the Wormways. He jumps at you, takes a bite out of you, and then dips. That's it. He only does like 1 or 2 massive damage, but it kind of like pisses me off how he gets to just take a bite out of me like that and disappear as I'm even killing him. So I did put him on this list, and he's gonna go in the mild inconvenience tier. Alright, next up we have the Cogwork Hauler. Now this guy also uses bombs, but I don't think he's quite as annoying. A lot of the areas he's in, you just kind of have to platform around him. You can also hit him away from you, and then if you just kind of hit him away from you, he'll just explode and die himself. So honestly, he still does like double damage, and he can really make you panic. So I'm not actually sure where this guy would go, like pretty annoying or mild inconvenience, but I think I'll put him in mild inconvenience, but like maybe like at the top of mild inconvenience. Okay, next up we have the giant Drapemite, and this guy is so damn tanky. I can think of at least one area of the map where there's like a small room you go into, and I think at the end it's just like rosaries or something. But right as you go to collect the rosaries, this guy spawns completely blocking the exit. He's super tanky. His attack is really hard to deal with. Being trapped in that room for a lot of players means you're just gonna die in there. And God, I find this enemy pretty damn annoying. There's only like a few areas that he spawns in, but pretty much every time you encounter him, he's in a tight room where he's 100% gonna hit you. I think this guy is pretty annoying personally. Okay, next up we have the Pond Catcher, and I honestly don't see enough people talking about this dude. Every area he's in, he's above a body of water, and he flies away from you. So on top of you being in water from where you can attack, you try to like jump up and get him, he just kind of flies away from you. His spears are pretty damn accurate. In the areas he's in, the rooms are pretty vertical, but even if you just ignore him and try to parkour up the rooms, he will just fly and like chase you and try to hit you anyways. I don't really see people talk about this guy, but I personally think this guy is actually very annoying. Okay, next up we got the Roach Catcher here. And honestly, the first time you encounter this guy can be pretty annoying. His attack is pretty big and he throws like 2 of his little traps at you. But the main thing that makes this guy way easier to deal with is the fact that you can simply deflect the projectiles he throws at you. They're not too hard to deflect. They're fairly easy to also deflect right back at him. But honestly, as like a first time encounter, this guy can be pretty annoying in my opinion. But once you kind of know how to deal with him, he's not too bad. So he's gonna go in the mild inconvenience tier. Alright, now we're on to some of the end enemies here, starting with the Skarr Scout. Now, this guy decided to add to this list because he is kind of annoying. He does constantly go underground and try to run away from you. He's particularly annoying when he focuses more on just throwing his daggers at you. He throws like 2 daggers at you and just tries to snipe you from across the room. If he goes for like melee attacks on you, it's like easy kill, like he's kind of throwing. Now, you do encounter these guys pretty early, so if you decide to go to the ant area pretty damn early on, Hunter's March, these guys are gonna give you pain. Pretty much every enemy at that point is a little too tanky for you, despite you being able to access that area fairly early, and these guys will take like several hits to kill, but I think they'll go in the mild inconvenience tier. Okay, now we have the Spear Skarr. These guys are pretty self-explanatory. They just fly away from you, they throw spears at you, and they're annoying as hell. Like half the rooms they're placed in, they're just super annoying to deal with. These guys kind of talk for themselves, if you know. They're pretty tanky as well. They like to bop up and down and flying, which can cause you to hit your head on them when trying to attack them. Overall, pretty annoying enemy. They're gonna go in the pretty annoying tier. Next we have the Last Claw here, and I wasn't really gonna put this guy on the list originally, but they only appear in one area in the entire game, and that's right before the Skarr Singer fight. There's 2 of them, and personally I kind of found them to be pretty damn annoying every time I wanted to, you know, fight. Every time I lost this Skarr Singer's Carmelita and I wanted to just fight her again, these guys were like always an obstacle. They do like double mask damage each, they constantly fly away from you. You have to like be pretty damn good at baiting them to come hit you. So just because I found these guys personally quite annoying and just in the way, I decided to add them to this list. But I only think they're like mild inconvenience tier, but I personally don't really like these guys. So okay, next up we have the Snitchfly here, and the guy's pretty much just kind of crafted to be annoying. You can find him in some areas in Act 3, they just like looting a dead town or something. All these guys do is they just try to jump at you and take your rosaries and then run away. From what I've seen, they can't really completely run away from you, so you can just go catch them, kill them, and get your rosaries back. But they're pretty damn annoying. There's always like 2 of them, so I think they deserve a spot on this list, but they're going in the mild inconvenience tier. Okay, second last here we have the Squatcraw. And honestly, I think I need your guys' opinion on this one. On one hand, I think I would put this guy like top of pretty annoying, but I also think this guy can definitely be qualified to be in Spawn of Satan tier. He's kind of similar to like the Alpha Aspid from Hollow Knight. The main thing that makes him easier in my opinion is when he does his like triple dagger attack, you can actually see him pull out the daggers like for like a couple milliseconds before he throws them. That does actually give you a little bit more time to react, and I found that helped me a lot. Now, he is fairly tanky. He does bop up and down like every crow enemy, so just trying to hit them, you might hit your head on him. But I don't think he does like double damage or anything. So he's pretty damn annoying, but at the same time, to me, he's kind of like fair, but that could just be me. So I'll put him in the pretty annoying tier, but honestly, let me know what you guys think about that one. And last of all here, we have every enemy that's afflicted by the Void in Act 3. I think the Void attacks, like projectiles they shoot and stuff at you, they're pretty damn annoying, so I decided that I would just put that all into one category and put on the list here. I think it's pretty annoying. So that's the spot I think I'll put them in. Alright, here's the final tier list for those of you who skipped to the end. Now, what enemies you find annoying or easy does largely depend on your playstyle. A lot of these enemies are pretty much annoying for everybody, but some of these enemies that I might find easy, you might find annoying, or enemies that I find annoying, you might find easy. So please leave in the comments what you think, what enemies you find the most annoying. If you also want, you can go watch my last tier list video. Now, that video, the editing approach is much different than that one. I'm personally far more proud of this video here. I changed my editing approach entirely after learning from that last video. And please leave a like and subscribe as well, as it really helps motivate me to push more videos out to you guys. And have a good day.